Carnival. The mask that burns like a violin, the mask that sings only dead languages, that loves the destruction of being put on, the mask that sighs like a woman even though a woman wears it, the mask beaded with freshwater pearls, with seeds, the plumed mask, the mask with a sutured mouth, a moon face, with a healed gash that means harvest, a glower that hides wanting, a grotesque pucker. Here's a beaked mask, a braided mask. Here's a mask without eyes, a mask that looks like a mask but isn't. Please don't try to unribbon it. A mask that snows coins in the mask full of wasps, lace masks to net escaping thoughts. Pass me the rouged mask, the one made of sheet music, or the jackal mask, the hidebound mask that renders lovers identical with night. Which, if I never thought to mention it before, I now feel compelled to address. Tall, 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 tall man. You bend so as not to dent the firmament. You're made of elements I've never tasted. I crave you, tall man. I love your strident devotion to the real as knowable. I love your bump-bada-bum. I love your thumbtacks and shrouds. Wrap me in your arms and teach me how to carol the moon in a way that pleases it. Yes, sometimes I want to pick up my shadow and sling it at you. Yes, you make me so angry I burst into green, green flames. I love you. Forgive me. I have made you the object of poems. I have subjected you to much wheezing. O tall man, love me like a hero, and I will give you an arrow from my quiver. Bum-ba-da-bum. Sublime, sublime, sublime. There's a kind of story in this book that, if you read the whole book, becomes visible. Since I'm not going to read you the whole book tonight, and you can thank me later, I will just tell you a little bit. The first half of the book was written in sort of between kind of 2006 and sort of 2008. And it's about my family, my partner Craig, and his son Robin, who lived with us. In 2009, Craig disappeared in Japan, and the rest of the book sort of contends with his disappearance and with the ways that we try to use language to talk and think and discover about mystery and love and loss. And so the centerpiece of the poem, which is also where the title comes from, Love and Index, kind of takes that form of an index, because I realized after struggling with this for a long time that the closest I was going to get with this story was a kind of gloss. So I'm going to read a few pieces from that centerpiece poem. A. Abandon what I did when you touched me that winter with an ungloved hand. Ache, broken things healing, bones, disappointments. Allegories of love, Fragonard's gossamered paintings, Ovid's pursuers in storied looms, the longing to know how things become what they weren't always. Of death, the dance macabre on a grave with a skull-faced man. What should knowing we'll die elicit? What does salvation have to do with being safe? Angel bones, scapular acromia, where the wings uncouple, where the wings belong. Apartments, Brooklyn, its spiral staircase reminding me of Francis Bacon. All men rise to greatness by a winding stair, a bicycle chained there. South Dakota, we gave your son the only bedroom, woke early to salted baguette and snow. Salt Lake City, a porch ghost, a view of the valley's glittering grid. My sister, your poor broken friend, we grilled squid on the Smoky Joe. Laramie, a basement, a stoveless kitchen, toaster-roasted eggplant, baseboard heat, and sex in woolen socks. Rome, 5B, stone floors, kitchen white as the madness I felt there. A bed made from twin beds held together with the duct tape, always suggesting itself as a metaphor. Anger, yours with your father maybe, with me, mine with you for expressing it towards my family. There are other ways of telling the story of our two angers, entwined like bodies in the act of love, but in this one, I am not a villain. Anne Carson, the short talks from Plainwater, poolside in Greece while an Easter parade clanked pots and pans, congregating in doorways for ouzo and bread. Autobiography of Red, in which Jerion understands that people need acts of attention from each other. Antelope Island. You should have seen my father's face as the herd of bison loped across the road, not 10 feet from where we sat in our rented car. We watched the grace pool out around their hooves. I suppose you cannot make statements about the loveliness of something until you have watched it move. Attention, see also Anne Carson. Jerion understood that people need acts of attention from each other. I'm only going to read part of this entry, but it seemed appropriate since here I am. See, California, where I lived and where you lived, as it turns out, at the same time. You were just graduated from Yale, working in a theater, and I was in 5th grade. You had a roommate whose salads were legend and a girlfriend whose father taught you to cook bourguignon. I had a bicycle with a banana seat, and my sister and I used to play toll booth in the carport or ride to the pool, stopping first at the store for French bread and ranch dressing or burritos for a snack. California. A few years later, I went to that theater. My friend was house-sitting in the Haight. We made daiquiris in the fancy blender, smoked Nat Sherman mint cigarettes on the porch, watched the city lights spangle and thought, we are so cool. Chopin, Etude, major keys seem to have to do with light, minor keys with shadows cast by major keys. Nocturne, an evocation of watchful owls, satin violins, or a woman at a desk trying to see through her own reflection in the window. Prelude, a text that is all preface, a foreword to a story untold. Conversation about poems. You like the sound of rice poured into a pan. I like the bird who sings like a wetted wine glass rim and the bird who casts its shadow on the sea. I like poems held between two people, Lucky Pierre style. See also personism. With Coleridge and When I Rose, I found myself in prayer. Such poems gather everything into the now of the poem. I want to gather everything into this poem's now, but I can't. All is gloss. See also gloss. E. Emily, my sister, when asked what single thing she'd bring to a desert island, said, a yacht. Like me, she fears to make mistakes. Epithet, Homeric, such as swift-footed, even when the hero's sitting down, or breaker of horses, for women soft-braided or glancing. I have some for you, tall man. You have some for me. Eros, son of Aphrodite, who, according to Seneca, smites maids' breasts with unknown heat and bids the very gods leave heaven and dwell on earth in borrowed form. X, a prefix meaning formerly and no more, connoting renunciation when affixed to nouns such as lover and Catholic, not likely to be placed before certain other nouns such as sister or bicycle. I. In the Middle Ages, it was thought impossible to desire anything you've never seen, and so the blind could not love. I. Lens and retina, vitreous humor, ocular nerve, and filigree of capillary veins. For years, my blood sugar has been gathering like rust in these tiny pipes. They clog or weaken, crack, leak, black smokes in my eye. H. Hacienda Guachipelin, a farm in Costa Rica near Rincon de la Vieja and the Nicaraguan border. You climbed a volcano while I rode a horse with a vaquero named Henry. A waterfall, Cotimundi. I met 3 stewardesses, a hot spring, who painted me with mud, curing me sunburn. Gin and tonics by the pool. You kept rolling your glass across your brow. A woman carrying a sloth up the mountain asked, "Do you want to touch my sloth?" You said no. Pretty sure she'd try to charge you. Harbinger, a sign, a messenger, an omen that precedes change. One night in April, I dreamed you coming to me. When I woke, the phone was ringing. The man on the other line said, "I have to talk to you. It's about Craig." Heart. Jose Asuncion Silva put on a white shirt and went to the doctor. He asked the doctor to draw on his shirt the exact size and location of the human heart in the body. Silva went home, loaded a pistol, muzzled it dead center of the outline, and fired. K. Kuchino Erabushima, an island, see also volcanoes. You called me from the ferry. I was talking about Zhukovsky. You were saying you hated Zhukovsky. You were happy and told me I would hate it there. The sea was very rough. You said, "I love you. I miss you." I said, "I love you. I miss you too." You said, "Tell Robin I love him." That's as far as I went with you. Q. Quandary. A problem with no solution. See also desire. R. Read Bug School Conference, read guest list, read of course, read no way, read OMMFG, read poems, read more poems, read when you get a chance, read Mexico, read asshole student behavior advice, read beautiful, read oh Reginald, I'm so bored, I do wish the London season would begin, read yes, read yay, read amazing, read don't hate me, read, and that's what I mean when I talk about gods. Risk. What you risk reveals what you value, Winterson writes. You play, you win. You play, you lose. You play. Rome. Shopping for vegetables, you held my hand as we wandered the Esquiline market, where an Arab vendor told me we could see his fish were freshest because their eyes most resembled glass. The rabbits all have ears, so customers can be sure they aren't stray cats. We stopped at the Euro place, bags bristling with onion stems and fennel. Back home we left our bags slumped in the kitchen and lay down together in our bedroom, high ceilings, salt white in the profusion of afternoon sun. I remember my eyes stung with an excess of light. I'm just going to read one more. And this is the last poem in the book. Thanks again to everyone, and thanks to Alan and Zubair for sharing the evening with me. Marblehead, and this has an epigraph from the great James Schuyler. Not to be in love with you, I can't remember what it was like. It must have been lousy. You take off your black motorcycle jacket, hang it on the back of a chair. It's cold from our walk along the seawall. Your pockets jingle with shells. While we were gone, you left the stove on low. Some things you do make me so nervous. You graze the surface of sauce simmering in a pan. Shiny fingertip held out for me to lick. You say, what does it need? Maybe nothing. Maybe honey to unbitter the lime. Later that night, you'll bury your face in my belly and sob, I'm sorry, but I don't think you are. Always talking to me, my love. But now, lobster steam billows up the window. You gulp purple wine, your pinky sticking out. And the round olives are the green. All green things aspire to be. Thank you.